Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel, where it is time for another episode of A Chat With. And today, I have a Wolves fan all the way out in South Asia. It is James from Sweet and Sour Soccer. James, Thank you very much for coming on. How are you doing?
I'm very well. First of all, I've got to apologise because I know you're enjoying a heat wave back in the UK at the moment. It's 30 plus degrees every day here. So it looks like I'm in some kind of time warp. It's so bright. And because the walls are white, I don't know if you can see me properly. So I do apologise.
Well, if it's 30 plus degrees over here, yeah, we would be basically saying, yeah, too hot, too hot, too hot. So, yeah, I can definitely understand that as well. But always ask this question: how are you feeling coming into the upcoming season?
I was one of the biggest Nuno fans, obviously, who were left by apparent mutual agreement, but it was kind of the general consensus is that he was pushed, and I'm one of his biggest fans. I was actually drinking because Wolves are very good at keeping secrets. The new board, especially the owners Jeff Shee and Fossen, whether it's transfers, departures, whatever the case may be. It came out of the blue. Not one local journalist had a sniff of this. And I was getting drunk at the time it got announced. So I quickly jumped on to Sweet and Sour to do a video. And by the end of it, I did a live stream for about 2 hours. I was so drunk. I was ready to cry. I'm in regards to the upcoming season, I've got to be honest. I'm not confident. I know Bruno Lage, I think that's how you pronounce it, has got a good reputation in Portugal. He brought through great players like João Felix, of course, who's gone to Atletico Madrid. He likes a 4-4-2. We don't have players for that, especially in defence. I'm apprehensive, let's put it that way. But I've got to back him. He's a Wolves manager, and we can't start throwing shade his way without giving him a fair crack at the whip.
Yeah, and it has to be said, Nuno had you through, a lot of good years. So obviously you must have been gutted when the news came out. But yeah, doing a live stream 2 hours, completely away with
intoxicated, let's say,
must have been very interesting.
The video's still there if you want to go and watch it. I think I was throwing abuse out to a lot of our subs. It's just what we do. We have really, really good banter. If you don't like being called a moron, and if you don't want us to get your comments up on screen and take the piss, don't watch. But it was fun. It was interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about your transfers, because there's been a few. So ends, you have Francesco Trincao. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting signing. You've obviously made Ryan Nouri permanent as well. Jose Sa has come in as well, and your son Mosquera, I think I've pronounced that right, as well. Are you happy? You happy with the ends so far?
I am. In regards to the fees we've paid, I think the fee we got for Rui Patricio, who's now gone to Roma to join up with Mourinho, who wanted him at previous clubs, very good fee. What we've paid for Sarr as well, I'm very happy for it. I think it's nothing but an upgrade, although I was a fan of Rui Patricio. Nouri was on loan last season from Angers. I think you mentioned it there. The fee that was floating around when we loaned him and throughout the season was around 18 million. Now, our left-back, our predominant left-back, is Johnny, of course, who you know. General fans of other clubs seem to like Johnny. He's never in the headlines off the pitch or on the pitch, but he's like that James Milner. You never get less than a 7 from him. Just a workhorse. So when he got injured, Nouri stepped in, scored on his debut against Crystal Palace away. We won I think we won 1-0, maybe 2-0, maybe Adama scored, but he scored on his debut, and we thought we've got a player. Gets caught out defensively, but the main thing is the price tag was 18 million. We've managed to secure him for 10, and I'm very happy with that.
Oh, very good.
So yeah, we don't tend to get done over in the in prices, whether we're buying or selling, except for Matt Doherty, where 50% of it went to Mendes, the agent, which is crazy. But I mean, Trincao, that's an option to buy of 25 million. We'll see how he goes. Listen, when any Barcelona player comes, it doesn't matter whether he's 17 or Messi. You're excited, aren't you? Because it's Barcelona, especially for a club like Wolves. We were in League One 6 years ago, so, we just have to enjoy it.
Aye, and Francesco Trincao, in fact, has been linked with Leicester in the past as well. So
he was heavily linked the last couple of windows,
Yeah, so I think to get him ahead of Leicester is very, very good. Jose Sa from FC Porto. That's quite a good replacement for Rui Patricio, I would say.
If you name a Portuguese player, odds are he's coming to Wolves or being heavily linked. So I do agree. I think his age is on his side. Rui's wasn't. We started to see the same mistakes. He gets beat at his near post far too often. Rui 5 years ago doesn't get. Even 3 years ago when we signed him, he was solid all round. We conceded a 91st minute free kick at the Molineux. We drew 1-1 with Newcastle. It was a front post free kick that he shouldn't be conceding. And these same things kept creeping in, really.
Yeah, definitely. And your last one I've never heard of, but I'm gonna try and pronounce it. Yerson Mosquera.
You've done pretty well there. Don't ask me, but I think you've kind of nailed that. I'll be honest.
I'm not good with pronunciation anyway. Let's put it that way.
If you want the king of mispronunciations, check out Scott on our channel. He can't pronounce half the Wolves players, so God no. When we do transfer talks, we give an update on transfers. It's so funny, honestly. But I don't know much about this guy. You always read good things when you buy a player. You read reports from scouting networks of either the buying club or the selling club. Wolves aren't going to come out and say these are his weaknesses. But from what I've seen, he's a back four player. Obviously, there are doubts over Cody as to whether he can play there. Bruno Lage's preferred position is a 4-4-2, specifically that 6-6 formation. So it'll be interesting to see the partnerships that do end up in the first few games of the season.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as outs are concerned, obviously Rui Patricio, I think he's been a fantastic servant. As you say, he did have a couple of mistakes in him. But every goalkeeper does have their mistakes. Leonardo Campagna, I've not actually seen him anywhere near. Ruben Vinagre, that's someone who came up with you in the championship. Are you sad to see him go?
For the fee, I'm not. I'll be quite honest with you. I think I think we would have loaned him out again. I still believe if Vinagre was on the Wolves books, I still do believe we would have signed Aït-Nouri. We've got Johnny in the background who's so unlucky. He suffered 2 ACLs in the space of a year. But I think we would have signed Aït-Nouri anyway because of his potential. His age is so young, so raw. So I think it just would have been another loan move for him. And if you're having to loan a player out 2 or 3 times, it does send a message that we're kind of just waiting for the right offer for you. I like him. He's so good going forward. Memorable performances against Manchester City, putting good performances against Cancelo, Walker. I think there's a player in there in a league like maybe the Greek league, the Dutch league, maybe the Spanish league, not to do him too much of a disservice, but the Premier League, I think the Italian league as well, where you have to either be so good defensively, like an Azpilicueta, where you don't get to go forward, or you've got to be that player that can do both. And listen, he could turn out to be a great signing for them. He could be a great player in the next 2 or 3 years. But what do? Do you keep someone and keep loaning them out for a maybe? I think it's unfair on the player.
Yeah, definitely. And the last one, I'm a Livingston fan, so I know this person, Matija Sarkic. Away to Birmingham City on loan.
Yes, I must be honest, I don't know much about him. You go back to Campagna. He's made a few bench appearances, never really broke through. And again, it's the same with this guy. It's What Wolves like to do is they do like to get players out, whether it is on a loan or because Jeff Shee and Fossen have such an ambition with Wolves. Now, listen, I'm happy to finish 17th most seasons and just be in the Prem. We spoke off air. I had season tickets when we went down to League One. So if we're on Match of the Day every year, I don't care. But Jeff Shee has these plans of, he said he wants to win the Premier League 10 years after taking over. That was 4 years ago now, I believe. So listen, more power to him. I think he's quite ruthless in that regard. Matt Doherty, at the club for 9-10 years, came from Ireland. No one knew him. A couple £100,000, I believe we paid. Sold him on for 15 million. I think he did want to go. It hasn't worked out, but there's no sentiment here. So listen, what the owners have done and the board with this club in the space of 4 years, who are we to argue? Us mere mortals.
Yeah, definitely. So we've obviously talked about the ins and outs. Do you expect any more transfer business coming into Wolves, or out of Wolves, I should say?
Ruben Neves is being linked heavily away. United, if they lose Pogba, Arsenal are sniffing around. I think there's been some overseas talk as well. I'm not his biggest fan, but I'm also not how to put it? I'm not someone that's on his back every week. So if we lose him for the right price, I wouldn't be too disappointed. But I'm seeing fees of 30, 35 million. This is the youngest ever Champions League captain. This is a player that now plays semi-regularly for a stacked Portuguese midfield. Renato Sanchez, Matinho, Bruno Fernandes. They've got some quality players, and if we let him go for 30 million, I would be disappointed. I really would.
And it has to be said, Ruben Neves does not score simple goals. Every single goal he has scored for Wolves has either been a free kick or just 35, 40 yards out. He just does not do simple goals, does he?
He scored his first goal from the penalty area last season away at Newcastle. We drew 1-1, and it was his first goal in the area that wasn't a penalty. Scored a header. We couldn't believe it. But this guy had a career highlight reel of goals by the age of 22. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the famous goal against Derby, I think it could be the greatest goal I've ever seen, and I'm not being biased. The ball was behind him. We can go into all of his goals in detail. But, I mean, he doesn't score enough, though. That's the problem. He's always topping the Premier League charts, not just the Wolves charts, but the league in terms of tackles, interceptions. He reads the play well. He's a bit slow in transitions when he receives the ball off Cody. Likes to take 2, 3, 4 touches sometimes. But, I mean, the guy's still so young. He's been playing Champions League football since he was 17, so he can only do better.
Yeah, it's mad how young he still is, Ruben Neves. But I absolutely agree. I think if you got 30 million, I think you should be aiming a little bit higher. Yeah,
disappointed, especially as he signed a new contract not too long ago. So I'm not happy with the fee that's being reported. And like I said, Jeff Shee will not get bent over in regards to transfers, incoming or outgoing. So I'm not too worried yet.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go into your first 6 fixtures. I have to say, when I was looking at this this morning, it's quite a tough wee period, actually. So Leicester City away at the King Power, and then the return of Nuno, Esperito, Santo as you host Spurs. Then you host Manchester United. You're away to Watford, home to Brentford, and then Southampton away. So looking at those first 6, how many points do you expect to get from those first 6?
I think if you're taking 9 points out of a possible 18, I wouldn't say I'd be over the moon, but I think I'd be quite happy with 9 points there. You never know with a new team, whether it's Brentford, Blackpool, Burnley when they first came up, those teams that have never been in the league before or haven't for a while, they do tend to start well. It's that fear. They're not worried about relegation. They worry about that in January, February, March. It's still, the sun's still shining in August, September. They want to play football. Now there's fans back. I wouldn't look at Brentford and say that's a win, especially as we've got so many transitions with players and managers. Watford, again, it's one of those on paper you'd like to beat them. They've kept Farke as well, who I'm a big admirer of, and he's obvious. And sorry, not Farke. I'm thinking of Norwich. Who's their manager that came in and hit the ground running last season?
If I butcher this name, Watford fans, and I'm very, very sorry. Cisco Munoz, I think is how you say it.
I think you're right. But the problem is they have a manager every 3 months. So if any Watford fan has a go at me for not remembering, sort your club out kind of thing. But again, Watford, they're not going to be easy. They've got some good players, experienced players. I mean, you mentioned Leicester, first game of the season. I think we have them almost every season. It's them or Everton as our first game. It's not going to be easy. They've signed some great players. Daka comes to mind. Yeah, I think 9 points to answer your question. If we can take 9 points, I'll be happy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think Leicester away, that's a tricky one.
It is.
I don't know. See, I fancy you against Tottenham. I don't know why, but
it's
just fancy
you against
Tottenham.
Thing, isn't it? It's that Nuno thing. Yes.
Yeah. Manchester United at home. I mean, you've given them hard games in the past as well, and I feel you could maybe get something from there. And then, as you say, it's all about the Watford away, get 3 points there. That'd be good. Brentford, you'd be probably expecting to get 3 points. Southampton away, you've got a good record at St Mary, so you'll probably be expecting to get 3 points there as well.
Yeah, we've got a good record there. We came from 2-0 down to win 3-2 a couple of years ago. We've got some good memories there. It's far gone are the days. We lost to them 6-0 at St Mary's about 15 years ago. So I'm glad those score lines don't pop up anymore. But Southampton's not an easy game either. They beat us in the FA Cup last season. It depends if they keep Danny Ings. I know he's turned down a record contract with them. I think it was $200,000 a week over 4 years. I mean, a player with his injury record and his age turning down that contract, we'll see. The first 3 fixtures for us, in contrast to our next 3, it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? So after the first 3 games, if Leicester, Spurs, United, it's I said Man City before, I meant United. Yeah, you could easily walk away from that with 0 points and be bottom. But if we do, the next 3 games, we could get 7 points. You never know.
That's mad. That's absolutely mad. And then your final 6, I was looking at this, and tricky. Manchester City at home, Burnley away, Brighton at home, Chelsea away, Norwich City at home. And then you come to us at Anfield, the final game of the season. So by then you'll be hoping to obviously steer clear of relegation, maybe be in European contention. That'd be a nice dream, wouldn't it?
You're the only top 6 club, or the only club who have been in the league whilst we have for the previous 3 seasons, who we haven't beat yet. Not really got close. You've got lucky on a few VAR decisions. I will throw that in there. There was the 2-1 win. I think Firmino scored in the 80th minute. Jimenez made it 1-1 with a header. But you've got our number, you really have. But those last 6 games, again, not easy. We've got a decent record against Chelsea, a couple of draws, a couple of wins. But most teams, most seasons, you'll have a patch where you've got 5 or 6 games against top half opposition, but then you seem to get a nice run. We haven't really got that this year. I've looked at the fixture list 3 or 4 times now, trying to see if I've missed something. We don't really have a run of fixtures where out of 5 games you think you could win 5. You can't assume to win any game in the Premier League, but on paper, we don't have a run of Burnley, Norwich, Watford, Brentford, and help me out. But we don't seem to have a good run this year. So it'll be interesting. It really will. It's always that case of if we don't lose this game, if we don't win this game, the next game is going to be hard. And if we don't win this game, it's 2 games are hard, and you don't really want that.
Yeah, definitely. But obviously, us Liverpool fans will always remember the 1920 season. Thank you very much for getting the double over Manchester City. That must have been very special.
That was incredible. We won 2-0 away. Both goals came in the last 5 minutes, an Adama special. And then we beat them 3-2 at home. Matt Doherty got the winner. And it's a games that I couldn't go to. I had season tickets for years. I watched us go down from the Premier League. I watched us go down to League One the following season. Fun fact: Wolves are still, I believe, the only club in English football who have done successive relegations on 2 separate occasions, and I was alive and witnessed one of them. So yeah, I watched all that. I watched us lose 1-0 away at Burton. I watched us get beat by Preston. And now we're doing the double over City. And I'm having to watch the game at 3 a.m. So, yeah, sod's law. But, that was incredible.
I do. Funnily enough, I remember the 2-0 game because me and my fiance actually were in Glasgow at the time. And I just remember travelling because that was the same day Livingston had beaten Celtic 2-0 on that day. So that was our first ever win over Celtic. And then get to Glasgow, and then I'm just like watching the score creep by, and it's like 1-0, and I'm like yes, 2-0, and then that was very, very good. But I remember the 3-2 game. I think Ederson got sent off, didn't he? I think Ederson got sent off, and then Claudio Bravo had to come on.
You are right. I do apologise for that. My soundboarding is falling off the wall, so I do apologise. I've got to get soundboarding because it's such a boxed room. The echo is unbelievably bad, so I'm getting soundboarding put in. This is how we do things on Sweet and Sour. It's all by hook or by crook, and it goes wrong most of the time. So do check us out. But yeah, that Man City game, it was a nail biter. And again, that was the season we finished 7th, obviously got into the Europa League. We were flying high. It wasn't a game where we had to win it or we were getting dragged into a dogfight. We could just enjoy those games at that point. So it was just such an incredible game. So many players stepped up: Matinho, Adama, Doherty, Jimenez. So so many great games against top opposite, except for you. I don't understand. Again, I'm just going to blame VAR. You've had some proper dodgy decisions against us with VAR. So, yeah, it's a very hollow victory, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So my next question would be, what would be a successful season for Wolves?
Do you want the honest answer or the answer I should give? For my for fellow Wolves fans who might watch this,
I would give both. I would give both.
If we are in the league next season, I'd be happy. I really would, and a lot of fans will disagree with that. A lot of neutral fans, because we are a general fan channel. We've got fans from so many different clubs overseas, and a lot of fans have been commenting saying that or when we do a collab on another channel, they're saying they fear for Wolves next season. And I don't disagree. I really don't. How will Jimenez get on from his, obviously, potential career-threatening injury? If he comes back even 75% of the player he was, I'll be happy. Will he want to put his head in for every ball? Will he want to head a ball? He's got to wear his protective head guard, I think, for the rest of his career. But you just don't know. Adama's been linked with a lot over the summer, so will his head be turned? He's stalling for a long time now. I'm talking close to a year. He's been stalling on a new contract. So what does that say?
Yeah.
We've lost Matinho, of course, who was a great servant to the club. A 4-4-2 with a squad that has been playing 5 at the back every week, really, for the last 4 years. New manager. I don't know. I think if you could offer me 17th right now, or take the chance of trying to get into the top 10, I think I do take 17th. I must be honest. I'm trying not to be negative here, but again, it's that thing where I've seen us in League One. I've seen us losing on cold nights away at Bolton and places like that. So I just want to be in the league. Sorry, this is so bad. This is so bad. I can only apologise, guys.
No, that's all right. No, yeah.
You might be shocked by that. You might be shocked, but I'm being serious. Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, on Raul Jimenez, how many goals do you expect from him next season? Now, obviously, you don't want to rush him back. I think it's a safe. Same with us with Van Dijk and Gomez. You don't want to rush them back. So, how many goals would you expect from Raul Jimenez next season?
Oh, are we speaking predominantly league or
all competitions?
All competitions. If he's been a 20-goal a season striker for us the last couple of years, 15 in the league, I think, the season before last, which is a good return for a lot of Premier League strikers. If he can get 15 goals in all competitions, as many as possible in the league, I'd be very happy with that. I think it would be a good season for him. He might have a point to prove. He's not getting any younger. I think he turns 31 next season. So if he can put in another 15-goal season, as many in the league as possible, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, definitely. Will Bruno, honestly, me with pronunciations, Lage, be given time to get it right at Wolves, do you think?
I must admit, honestly, you're never going to invite me on your channel again, are you? You're really not. You're never going to invite me. I put this up today. I will have it fixed for the next video, so don't put that off subscribing. What was the question? Sorry, it's gone.
Will Bruno Lage be given time to get it right at Wolves?
Do you know what? I'm going to give you a very honest answer there. I don't know. This is Fossum's first managerial change. Nuno came in very quickly after they did. They've never had to do this. You could argue that Nuno didn't deserve to get the push. Guided us to a 14th place finish. Our best left back had an ACL. Most players didn't perform. Our best striker, one of the best strikers in the league, in my humble opinion, had a skull fracture. So you could say he did a very good job. So they mean business. I think if we're sitting anywhere near the relegation zone by Christmas, he could get the push. This is uncharted waters for Wolves and Wolves fans. We really don't know. I'm trying not to dodge the question. In my opinion, I am one of those old school fans. I believe in hard tackles. I believe in rough pitches. I believe in giving managers the time they deserve. But at this level now, it's not like it was even 15 years ago. The money is astronomical. So you can't afford to go down. So it'll be interesting. It really will. I think Fossum mean business. I don't think they'll just say, well, we'll give you a chance in the Championship to get us up, because Bruno Lage has got no experience in the Championship. We may as well get Neil Warnock in or Big Sam. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Now, two last questions I'm going to ask you. When are we likely to see Pedro Neto?
The report coming out is that he shouldn't be too far into the season. I'm sure he's a player that you just love to watch. My player of the season last season, along with most fans. We are expecting him, I'd say, anywhere from two games in being positive, being a pessimist, maybe 6 games in, bearing no hiccups along the way on his rehabilitation.
So sooner than I expected. Very, very good, because Pedro Neto, I have to say, he was fantastic last season. Absolutely fantastic. I remember the goal he scored, I think, was at Southampton, where he dinked his way past Southampton players and curled it into the corner. Like, he is a great, great player.
He really is. I do apologise. There we go. He is. I can't believe we found him, and for the fee that we found him for. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Sorry, I can't believe we found him. We do have a good scouting network. Not quite the level of Leicester, but we are very good in the market. This guy, we did a video saying, would he be Wolves' first ever £100 million player. That would be the Premier League's first £100 million player, wouldn't it? I believe.
It would be.
I think it would be, yeah.
£100 million, yeah, it would be. Yeah,
not euros, but yeah, I think we did a video on it, and I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. Mm-hmm. He's got everything. He's got to work on his defensive side, especially now that Lage wants to play a 4-4-2, so he won't play in that 5-2-3 system where he's got more of a wing attack position where he can kind of get away with not tracking back. That old school winger where he needs to help out his fullback might be a test for him. But this guy's got everything: pace, he's got power, strength on the ball. He doesn't get pushed off the ball like a Hazard or a Coutinho. He's got that Aguero low centre of gravity. He can score goals technically in the box. Yeah. He can drop a shoulder. He can score from outside the box. I honestly, if we get anything less than 70 million for him, I would be fuming, absolutely fuming. I really would.
So expect a wee cheeky bid from Liverpool. I'm only joking. I
think there have been links. There were links during last season. I think we did a transfer talk on it on our channel. We spoke about potential links for him. I think it might have been when that Madrid Salah talk was happening. A potential replacement. So he deserves to be at a bigger club and a better club. But hopefully we can keep him for as long as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last question, I know this is probably, I think you've probably been asked this loads of times. Will Adama Traore be at Wolves next season?
I highly doubt he will be leaving us before the season starts. You never know what can happen the last week of a transfer window. They haven't changed that rule, have they? Because I know they wanted... Mm-hmm. Did they try it one year where they wanted the window done before the first game? I don't think they've implemented that yet, have they?
No, I think the window shuts on the 31st of August this year.
It's still the end of the month, yeah. So it's one of those where if he gets a couple of assists and a goal in his first 2 or 3 games... Chelsea, apparently Tuchel is a big admirer of Adama Traore and wants him as a wing back, which I don't get, especially with how good James has been, Reece James. Maybe he wants to move Reece James into that third centre-back position on the right-hand side and have Adama going past him, which would be lethal. But if he gets off to a good start, there's always weird transfers, isn't there, for the last week, especially the last 2 or 3 days of the window. Big clubs who have maybe not got the player they wanted over the summer, they tend to throw out a stupid bid for proven players, don't they? So I wouldn't say no, but I would be surprised. I really would, especially with Neto not being, or maybe Neto might be back by then. We've got Trincao, but our wing options they do not favour us in depth. So I would be surprised unless a 40, 50 million pound bid came in.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's going to be a fascinating season ahead for Wolves as well. James, thank you very, very much for agreeing to come on and talk all things Wolves. I really have enjoyed this. Where can we find you on the socials? And tell us about Sweet and Sour Soccer, if you may.
Yeah, so Sweet and Sour Soccer, it's what me and Scott started back in February. I think as of recording this, we have 493 subs, and we really want to get to 500. So if you wouldn't mind heading over there and helping us out, it's free to sub. If you don't like our content, you can always unsub. But you can find us on Twitter at Sweet and Sour Soccer, same on Instagram, same on YouTube. We're a general channel. We do fun bits where we have a bit of a laugh. We have different segments. We like to get out a segment called Transfer Talk that we do 2 or 3 times a week, where we give a roundup. It's normally about 8 or 9 minutes. So if you can't be bothered, like me before I did the channel, if you can't be bothered to scour the internet and look for all the new transfer rumours, this video is bite-sized. So you can have a coffee, watch it, and you'll know what's happening. But yeah, we've also started our FPL Prize League. You can find all the details on our channel. We did a video for it. It's in our description. First place gets £100. Second place is 50, and third place is 25. What me and Scott have said: the more subs we get over the season, the more those prizes will increase. And we're going to do random prizes throughout the season. You know, highest score, one random game week, and things like that. So yeah, check us out. And any subs that we've got, I will absolutely throw your way, because I've seen a few of your videos. I knew about you because we've got a lot of mutual friends like Tommy Talks Ball, Neil from Beyond the 90, who's incredible. And I've heard of you and seen a few of your videos, and you've got some really good content. If you're doing videos about the SPL, we don't touch that. That's not our business. So you've definitely got some content that we're scared of doing, but absolutely.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, guys, go and follow James over at Sweet and Sour Soccer, and Scott as well. Very, very funny channel, and I'm pretty sure we will have you on back for a Wolves preview when we play you. Which I think is either November, December, if I'm right in thinking. I can't actually remember.
I'm trying to avoid looking at the Liverpool games. I don't bother anymore because it seems to be 0 points out of 6. So that's kind of a free week. We may as well play our under-16s that week just to rest some players. One last thing, guys. I do want to apologise again for this soundboard. You know, I'm not a DIY guy, so I will get it fixed. It's never happened before. It'll never happen again.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. We will be back with another episode very, very soon. But until then, it is goodbye from the both of us. See you later. Bye-bye.